Hello guys, so today I discovered a new garden centre and I went and I met some really lovely people. Obviously I'm not going to film a garden centre because it's not really a done thing. However, it was a really nice experience and I managed to buy some compost to fill up 3 of my 4 containers. So I have left one as I'd started it this morning so I could show you my plan. So basically I bought these 4 raised beds online. They were £47 for 2, so £100 worth. And I've got a wood pile down by the house. I haven't got a fire, so I don't really use the wood, but it's been there because that was my plan. I can't afford to do it, so whatever. So what you do is, if you can imagine filling these up from scratch yourself is pretty costly, really. So what I've decided to do is, I can't remember the name of the method, but basically you fill the bottom with bits of wood, and I know there's nails in this, but you know, I know you're supposed to take them all out, but I can't be arsed, frankly. The idea is that these will break down and feed the compost that you put on top. The compost kind of sits in between the bits and bobs. So what I've got here so far is, each one of these containers I've put 2 80-litre bags of compost in. So you can do your own maths depending on what provider you've got for those. So that's what I've done here. I'm debating putting another bag on the top, but I'm waiting for it to rain, which probably won't be too long because the sky looks disgusting. And I'll see how this settles after some heavy rain. And then I'll top it up when I can. To be fair, it's expensive. I don't really want to spend a shitload of money on gardening. I kind of do what I can, what I can afford, as and when I can afford it. So this is my project. I've got another 2 raised beds to fill as well, but this is my payday project basically. I bought the actual containers last month, so that was £100, and I also bought those arches, and they were, I think, about £20 for the 2, so £120. I have a garden budget of around between £100 and £150 every month, which for me is a bank shift. An extra shift at work pays for my gardening addiction. But it's quite a good gardening addiction. I've done all right, to be fair. I also bought, oh god, it's such a mess. I've got to sort all this rubbish out. I've not done this yet. It's been taking me a bit of time. Excuse the washing. This is just when I get a week off, I'll blitz it. It's disgusting. Also got myself some chilli plants and some tomato plants. So I've planted some tomatoes and some chilies over here. However, I don't always start off, and it's quite nice to have already started some before your seeds start coming through, because it just kind of gives you a bit of hope that summer's coming, frankly, because it's been disgusting, horrible cold in it for ages. I am waiting for new next door neighbours. Earlier on today there was a workman in that garden, and he was talking about cutting down the trees because the guy wants to move in, wants them all cut down and that hedge cut down. But that is an oak tree, and it was actually really refreshing to hear the workman say, you know what mate, I'm not touching that, that's the tree surgeon's job, and that is quite frankly probably protected. So that was quite nice. The guy who lived there before was pagan, he was a witch, We used to chat for a long time about all sorts of things. We used to have really nice chats in the garden with a little gin and tonic in the summer. And yeah, he was into the druid ways as well, I suspect. But this oak tree needs to stay put. It's just, we'll see what happens. I think the guy well overquoted him to try and put him off, quite frankly, so good on him. What else? I don't think there's an awful lot going on today. I've run out of energy, really. They were pretty heavy bags. Oh, the other thing I've done is I had to move my water butt because I think the tap broke. It fell over. I can't remember how it fell over now, but it did. And I think the tap broke when it fell. So what I've done is I'm not paying for another water butt this year. I've spent enough money on the garden. I've got finished with the compost yet. It's supposed to be a low cost project, really. So I've just put an old bin there. That collects enough water. I've got a watering can, that would do. I've got one around the back as well. I know this place is really messy, but it's a realistic picture of what most people's gardens look like at the minute. There we go. This one works. This is connected. This one's got a broken tap. It just means climbing inside it and replacing the tap. And I can fit inside a water barrel, but I don't feel like it right now. When it's a nice sunny hot day and I'm about to have a bath, I'll probably do that chore. Right now, nah. So garden's starting to take shape. There's quite a lot of structures appearing now, so I'm quite enjoying this. I've got a load of bamboo canes. These need to be put up at some point. I'm going to do this is my polytunnel. I'm going to work out where I want the high plants. I might use them to support some sweet corn this year. I'll see. My garlic's growing okay. I've got a pumpkin there from last year. That's the last one left over, so I'll just leave it out here for the animals, and then I'll take some of the seeds. Rhubarb's looking rather fine. I'm quite happy with that. I was going to make these into no dig areas because the ground's not great, and I get all sorts of weeds there. But that's going to have to wait until a bit later in the year. I've got, like I say, my budget for the whole garden is about between £120 and £150 a month, and that's being generous. I'm also trying to study and save money, and it's not easy, so you have to be realistic, don't you, unfortunately. So the blackthorns are growing quite nicely. I don't think my new neighbour's going to be particularly happy because he's trying to pay somebody to take down that conifer. He doesn't like the hedge. So I suspect he's a modern thinking person, rather than, if you look around this area, there's a lot of hedges because we live in the countryside. So, hedges provide homes for animals, birds, hedgehogs, all sorts. So I'm almost tempted to get another cockerel so they get annoyed and move out, but I haven't even met them yet, so it's a little bit unfair. So I'll go with the flow for now, be as nice as I can, but I'm not cutting back my hawthorn hedge. They can forget it. I'm not spending over £1,000 on a fence. No, I'm not doing it. I've got enough things to pay for living on my own as it is. So that's it today. I'm going in. I've done enough outside stuff today. Anyway, hope you have a good evening, and yeah, ta-da!